hours. It's a quick turnaround for those guys.
Quick turnaround
after
for those
some
guys.
of these. You're the master of quick turnarounds right now, I think.
Yeah,
right?
quick turnarounds for us. Yeah, so actually here's been my sequence of events today.
Okay.
Woke up at 4:45, watched Chase and Miles, write a story on Chase and Miles.
Yeah.
Get a lift in from 7 to 8 while hanging out with Austin in the Garden of Gains. Watch Andy and Miles, as we just talked about, side out 91% against Nikolai Kodafava.
Yeah.
Write a story on Andy and Miles while watching Kristen and Taryn lose to Mel and Brandy.
That's a bummer.
Write that story. Go coach Evan Corey for an hour. Come back. Austin goes down for a nap. Record the podcast. Breaking down the beach quarterfinals, just with the assumption that Anna Patricia and Duda would beat Japan. That did happen, and with the assumption that Sharif and Ahmed could beat Chile, and that did happen.
Yeah.
And then put that up, watch the USA men finish off Brazil, pack that up, call you, meet you here. Wham.
Here we are.
It's grind time.
Talk about a multitasker. Wow. I can't even compare. Like, I'm not even going to try, but that's impressive, man.
It's, Delaney was laughing because she's like, it's a mix of you having a natural ability plus being media trained plus being like a little bit of a psychopath.
You didn't say that you have any food today. You've had no coffee, caffeine.
Well,
you've got the Waikea, obviously.
The caffeine has been steady.
All right. Well, let's keep it going, man.
Let's keep it going. So, as I mentioned, the last thing I did before coming here was watch the USA men take down Brazil 26-24, 28-30, 25-19, 25-19. That was in the quarterfinals. So the American men are back in the semifinals. We are recording this on Monday afternoon at 2:55.
Yeah, that match just wrapped up.
So now the semifinals for the men's indoor Olympics are USA versus Poland. That will happen on August 7th, and Italy versus France. So, Matt, I'm going to turn it to you.
Yeah.
Men's side, who have you been especially impressed by in the Olympic Games so far?
I mean, two teams really stand out to me so far, and they could potentially meet for a gold medal. So, number one for me has been Italy. Pretty much all summer long, 2022 World Championships. We talked about them in our pre-Olympic pod. When they swept Poland, I believe, in that last match of pool play, like that's a statement victory, right? They solidified first place in their pool, and then going into the quarterfinals today, early morning, right? Turned it on at about 5:15 a.m. They were down in set 3, faced 2 match points to get swept out of the Olympics to Japan, and came all the way back for the reverse sweep. Simone Gianelli served an ace to keep his team alive in set number 3, and then they win 17-15 in the 5th. Whew. They outblocked Japan 15-2 in that match. That is a massive statement win for those guys, because it's not that they weren't playing good. Japan was playing great. But Italy, just to have that much perseverance, to be down 2 match points and then reverse sweep it all the way back, makes them very, very dangerous the rest of the way.
Yep.
Today's win for the United States in 4 over Brazil, which is a very good and experienced team, that is a huge win for them. Like we kind of said, a redemption win, right? Because Tokyo was not the finish that they wanted. They've been thinking about it for a long time. They were a little shaky to start in that first set. Their passing was not on point, but they found a way to get it done. They stole that first set. They were down by a few. No, I'm sorry. It was the second set that they came back to steal. Brazil won the first set when U.S. was up by 5 points late.
You had it right. U.S. stole the first.
Okay, U.S. came back to steal
Brazil stole
it.
the second.
Okay, so they went back and forth.
Weird match.
It was. Early on, it was weird. And then the U.S. just found their rhythm. Brazil started going to their bench, some younger guys that don't have like this level of experience in the Olympics, and it started to show. Unfortunately, that might be the last time we ever see Bruno set for Brazil. It might be the last time we see Lucas in the middle for them as well. And Yoandi Leal, who's been their GOAT outside hitter, just was shaky after set number 2. Lucarelli was on point like he did, but it just wasn't a big enough team effort for Brazil. But not to take anything away from our guys, they played great, persevered. Their middles were on point. The passing got better. Matt Anderson had to have a big match. He delivered. Christensen was great. Thomas Jeske off the bench was great.
Yeah.
TJ was great, hitting from the right side. Speraw had a great game plan along with Ferbs and Weber, their coaches. So exciting stuff. Now it's going to be a new test for them to go play Poland in the semifinals. So the last couple of times these two teams have played each other internationally, whether it's the World Championships or VNL, Poland has kind of had their number. But I feel like this is now their time, right, for the U.S. to get some redemption against Poland. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a great opportunity for them to do it. Poland beat Slovenia in 4. That was probably one of the most sure bets as to how those quarterfinals would go. They've got a little extra rest after that match because that was the first match of the day. U.S. played last. But both of these teams, they're going to have to reach into their bench. It's going to be a battle. Big serves. It's going to come down to serve and pass for sure. U.S. has got to pass the rock like they did today. Taylor Averill has been blocking terrifically for the U.S. And then it's going to be Anderson versus Leon, the outside hitters, two of the most prolific outside hitters in the world, going at it. So it's going to be a fun match. And it's Wednesday. It's not a lot of time.
Yeah, and it would be big for the U.S. to do this. As you mentioned, not a lot of time. Not the youngest team.
No.
That we've ever put forth. It's actually the oldest team that the USA has ever sent to the Olympics, if I'm not
You're
mistaken.
Right. Yes.
How much of a factor is that?
Well, it's at this point of this tournament, I mean, it's a factor for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's France is a little bit older. Italy's really the youngest team, but France is a little older. Poland's going to be broken down a little bit, and so is the U.S. just based on age. But 2 days rest versus 4, which is what they were getting in pool play. It's going to be even. At least no one went 5 sets today between the U.S. and Poland that can really break them down. And they'll be ready. I mean, for Poland, it's the first time in 44 years that they've made a semifinal in the Olympics. So fun fact for that.
That's why
last
we bring
time
you
was,
on, Matt.
Well, I got to thank our friends over at NBC for saying that in Volleyball World. Moscow 1980 was the last time they got to the semifinals.
Okay.
So this is a big opportunity for Poland. And Poland has become really a hotbed of international volleyball, one of the strongest leagues in the world professionally for the men. And they've been in the mix in major world competitions for the last, 8 years or so, or even maybe a little bit longer. So they're overdue, and they've got a chance to play for a medal. It's essentially a double elimination tournament now. Once you're in the semis, right, you lose your semi, you go to the bronze medal, but if you win, you go to the gold medal game. And, you get a little chance there as well. So it's going to be a big match. U.S. redemption, Poland redemption, but it's going to be another major battle between the two.
And when we did our preview episode, you mentioned that you would expect the final to be an Italy-Poland final.
Yeah.
That's possible.
It is possible. I still think Italy is for sure one of the strongest teams, and they are playing at an amazing level. To see a team down 2 match points in an Olympic quarterfinal to get swept by Japan.
Japan's had a strange tournament.
Japan has been up and down, and you got to feel it for those guys because, they all know each other really well, Italy against Japan. A lot of the Japanese players play in Italy professionally. Japan's coach, Philippe Blanc, is a Frenchman. And so for him to be coaching his final match for Japan, he's not going to be returning to the team in Paris and falling in that way. It's a heartbreaker for sure. But Japan played with a ton of heart, and they executed their game plan. You could tell really well. But Italy just does things that nobody else can do right now. Alessandro Michieletto is the 6'10" left-handed hitter, is just doing things that nobody else does, and teams don't know how to defend.
Yep.
And like that, he could be the difference maker. They've got to get past France first. We can't count out France because they're at home. They're defending gold medalists. They've got plenty riding too.
Right.
Ingapeth, Klevno was legit today. Brizard was solid. Their middles were really good. They started with Jean Patry, the opposite, but brought in Teo Fore, and he was amazing off the bench for France. They had to come back and reverse sweep Germany, who has been the surprise of the Olympics.
It's been a weird tournament for Germany.
Germany has been the surprise of the Olympics, and they played great volleyball, but France just had enough to get to the finish line today.
Yeah, and for France, home court advantage is so interesting because on the one hand, I think it is a massive advantage to be at home. On the other hand, It comes with a lot of pressure.
Tons of pressure.
And the French beach teams, for example, had a little trouble. Only won one match between all four of them. Do you think that is it an advantage for France, or is it one of those where it's a little bit too much pressure?
For this team, for the men's team indoors, I think it's an advantage.
Got it.
They're defending gold medalists, right? They won the VNL just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So they know how to win major international competitions.
That's a skill.
So they've been there before. Yeah. And to be able to do it in front of their home crowd, now their home nation in Paris, is for sure an advantage.
Yeah.
So
got it. So do you still like Poland, Italy in the finals? And do we still like Italy to win?
I still like Italy in the finals.
Got it.
I think it's going to be a quick turnaround for France. I think they're a little broken down. I expect them to kind of come out of the gates a little slow in that first match or that first set against Italy. I'm telling you, Travis, USA Poland could go either way. Whoever can pass the ball better, whoever can make more serves and put that pressure on the opposing serve receivers, and then block and defense, if you can get some quality touches on the blocks to slow down their offense and then turn them, that's where the difference is going to be. It's very narrow margins between these teams at this point.
And I think my theory, at least on the beach anyway, and I think that this would apply indoors well, is that when you get tested early, that's better than if you just run right through your pool. Yeah. So you look at Melissa Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson, for example, struggle through pool, lose a couple.
Yeah.
You find your form in the lucky loser. You come out, you upset Kristen and Taryn.
Yeah.
I think that we see that all the time in Elite 16s, where the team that comes out of the pigtail rounds of the playoffs plays the team that got a bye into the quarters and then beats them. And I think getting both France and Italy getting tested by Japan or Germany, I think that that's beneficial to both of them because you've been tested, you recovered, you found what you're made of, and now you're in the semifinals, like you said, double limp.
Well, Italy coming out of that pool with Poland and Brazil,
right?
That's a good test for them. Sweeping Poland is a huge confidence builder for them in pool play. France, they were a little up and down in their pool, but obviously, again, they can rely on their experience as defending gold medalists and VNL champions to kind of push them through some situations where there's some adversity, right? And things don't go their way. Poland, I think there's a lot of pressure on them, kind of like what we just talked about. First semifinal in 44 years, right?
Yeah.
Third place in the 2022 World Championships, right? They haven't won the VNL. So they think that they're probably due for a major international win, and this is going to be like their obviously best chance at it. But they're going to have their hands full. The way the U.S. is playing right now, you can see it. They've got confidence. They've got some swagger. And TJ DeFalco said it before the tournament started. They got to show some fight. They got to show some dog in them, right? And that's exactly what they are doing.
I love that. A little bit of dog in the boys. All right. Do you have anything more to add about the men before we go to the women?
I mean, today's been an amazing day of indoor volleyball. Days like today, August 5th, 2024, don't happen very often. Started at midnight, finished at about 2:15 p.m. local time, right? Just an amazing display of international volleyball skill, where the game is going, the way the game is being played by our guys. Keep supporting the U.S. Watch all 4 of those matches if you can on streaming or archive because just amazing volleyball played by all 8 teams in these 4 matches.
Yeah. So Peacock, God bless it. You can just go back and watch anything you want. I've loved it.
It's been great.
It's been awesome. All right. So those are the men's semis. Going to women's quarterfinals. And again, this will be out after the China-Turkey quarterfinal is finished, and it'll be out after the Brazil-Dominican Republic quarterfinal is finished. So that information will probably be outdated, but it's going to be kind of funny if we say stuff and we look back
we'll see.
And it's wrong.
Yeah.
So those are the first 2 quarterfinal matchups. Second quarterfinal matchups is the USA versus Poland, and the last quarterfinal matchup is a banger, Italy versus Serbia. So Matt, I'm going to kick it back to you. Women's Olympics so far.
Yeah.
Who have you been impressed by? Any surprises, that sort of thing? Take it away.
It's been a little bit of a roller coaster for all the women's teams on this side, besides Italy. And I think Brazil, those 2 teams have really kind of separated themselves. Turkey got swept by Italy in pool play on the women's side. The United States has been a little bit up and down. I think this is a great draw for them to play Poland first. Poland has some good size through the middle, but they don't have that big dominant opposite hitter like Turkey does or Italy has. So that side of the bracket's going to be a little more, competitive. Not competitive, but a little bit more heavy hitting, right? Brazil and Dominican. Brazil's playing great, steady Brazilian volleyball right now. They did all through pool play. I'd expect them to have a relatively easy match against the Dominican. I just don't see the Dominican team really matching up well against Brazil. And that'll set up USA-Brazil in the semifinal, which would be an exciting one for sure. The U.S., they've got to tighten up their game a little bit. Mm-hmm. We've seen through pool play kind of different lineups, different players coming in. They brought in Micah Hancock, who was the alternate, replacing Lauren Carlini, who went out with a back injury. So she's gotten playing time setting and also as a serving sub. So, for the United States, they've got to take care of the serve receive as well and then find their rhythm offensively. I think they've all been there before. They're defending gold medalists, so they can rely on that experience. But then on the other side, you've got Italy taking on Serbia. That's going to be a good match. Serbia has played good volleyball. I mean, they pushed the United States. I don't know if they have the firepower to take down Italy. The Italian opposites, once again, Poliiganu and Antropova, are just on another level with one other opposite, that's Vargas from Turkey, who can score points. They can go off for 30 points each, all three of them. Yeah. And two of them are on the Italian side. So, whoever plays Italy has got to figure out how to stop them. Italy will definitely rely on that win that they got over Turkey in the preliminary pool play phase. But it's once they go to the semifinals, I think anything can happen.
I feel like Italy's been the only team that's been able to sustain, and Brazil, a high level of play. Because you watch the USA, and that's a classic Jekyll and Hyde, where the first two sets against Serbia, it's like, damn, that's the best team in the world. Yeah. And then you look at the next two sets, and it's like, oh, we just got dusted. And then the fifth set was a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Where we go down, we go up, we come back. Yeah. And our five-setter with China was kind of similar.
I mean, it's extremely hard for one team to beat another team at this level in three straight. Yeah. We haven't seen hardly any three-set sweep matches in the Olympics. And I don't think we'll see any in this quarterfinal round either on the women's side because there's so much parity, right? And you go down 0-2, you make some adjustments, you get in a run, and you build a lead, it's hard to come back from. And there's so much momentum in this game now. As soon as you get some of that behind you, that can help you push you to the goal and the finish line as well. And then it's a chess game. I mean, Karch has got his hands full trying to figure out how to slow down the other team, but also how to put the best 6-7 players out on the court. Justine Wong-Arantes has been legit for U.S., the libero. She's not coming off the court at all. But it's who else is he going to put out there that can get them through the finish line into the semifinals or the medal matches.
And I'm a indoor novice at best. Don't watch a ton. Drew's has been fun to watch.
She's got a cannon.
Whew.
That lefty.
Man.
You just like it because she's lefty, right?
Yeah, I love Michieletto. I love Drew's. There's no lefty bias here, I promise.
Her arm swing. She brings that arm down and around, and it is an impressive swing, and she can put some serious heat on the ball. The Purdue Boilermaker, I believe she played at in college. So she's had a great run, and I know that this team wants to defend their gold medal. And I think they're headed in the right direction. They've got to get through this first one with Poland. Like I said, Poland doesn't have the biggest team. They've got some weapons through the middle. Their outside hitters are reliable, but nothing that's going to make you drop your jaw or anything like that. And Lavarini, their coach, is an Italian guy who has been doing a really good job. I don't think they match up that well against the Americans. If we can pass the ball and run our middles, take some of that pressure off of our outside hitters offensively, that'll definitely help.
Yeah. Were you at all surprised that China took the pool with China, U.S., Serbia, and France?
No. Okay. I mean, China traditionally has been a very strong indoor volleyball country. I mean, even on the beach there for a little while, too. The men's team in China, not quite the same, but the women's side has traditionally been a very strong program. Not that surprised to see that they beat the United States. Maybe kind of surprised them. But it just goes to show how much talent's really out there.
Yeah. It was so funny when we had Kelsey and Brian on the podcast before. And we were like, who are medal contenders? And they named pretty much everyone in the field except for maybe Netherlands, France, and the Dominican.
Right.
Then we had Dana Retke on the podcast. We were like, who's medal contenders? Named everyone in the field except for the Netherlands, Dominican, and France, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's a deep talent pool right now for sure.
Well, it's been cool to see the change in format that allows it to happen, where that's what they said, that because it's not, I forget exactly how they changed it, but there's not as much of a limit on the quota from every continent. And so it's more.
So you're talking about how the teams qualified.
Exactly.
So those teams qualified by an open Olympic qualifying tournament, plus the top ranked teams in the world representing whichever continent they're from, plus one representative from Africa, which was Kenya.
Right.
So it's, not the typical one team per zone, but you get a legitimate view at the top 10 teams in the world playing each other, plus, 2 others in the Olympics.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just make it the best tournament possible.
It happens once every 4 years. I'm already excited for LA 2028, right?
Seriously.
But it's been a heck of a ride so far, and we're just getting we're halfway there.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're only halfway there, and it's it's exciting. We've got some good vol to come. Do you have any medal predictions on the women's side?
Well, if Italy and Turkey win as they should, I mean, that match could have potentially even been a gold medal match, but it's going to be a semifinal match, which means that whoever wins that and goes to the gold medal match arguably has beaten the top team in the world, and now we'll have to play 3 or 4 in the world to get the gold medal, right? So that's going to be a huge advantage for that side of the bracket. If the U.S. can get through Poland, which I think they can, most likely they'll play Brazil on a neutral court in Paris, and hopefully they can, do what the men's team did today and beat Brazil, because, that's a huge rivalry in international volleyball, USA-Brazil.
Is that as big indoors as it is on the beach?
Oh, yeah, for sure it is. 100%.
Because the USA-Brazil beach has traditionally been the biggest rivalry since 1987.
And so many of these players know each other from their professional club teams. They've played against each other, whether it's on their club teams overseas or internationally for their country. So, again, this only comes around once every 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, you have to really embrace the moment and just leave it all out on the court. So it would be great to see Italy, Turkey, Brazil, USA in the women's semifinals. Medal, and then from there, I mean, it could be a coin flip. Anything could happen.
On Bet Online, I did pick the Italy combo gold medal indoors.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, it's very, very, very possible.
Yeah.
I do think that the Italian men, especially after this win against Japan, pushes them to the front of the pack. And it's going to be a fun finish for sure.
It's going to be a fun finish. Well, happy Olympics to everyone. Matt, before we go, do you have anything else to add about indoor, the women, the men?
Go USA. Get it
USA.
done. Bring the medals home. Get the hardware.
We're biased here. We own up to it. We love the USA, but more importantly, we just love volleyball.
We sure do.
Matt, thanks for coming on and hanging out. Producer in the background, appreciate you coming on, brother. All right, shoots, guys.